darling.
Hello. I can't see me.
Oh, don't worry. So on your screen, if you tap around, you should see some options to turn a camera on. Gracie, is it about hysterectomy and stuff, or is it about something else? Because I just don't want to veer off today. That's all. I just want to stay on topic. I'm not being an asshole.
Right, just give me a
Thank
sec because
Thanks, darling. Yeah, hold on, let me look on my screen. Yeah, if you tap the screen, then you should see your name and a camera with like a line through it.
yeah, I'm getting there. Can you even hear me?
Oh yeah.
Oh, well, that's one step in the right direction. Right.
We can hear you, we can see your logo. But if you can't come on camera, you can also just talk like this, like
I can.
like Clubhouse or something.
Gosh, those were the days. Everyone remember Clubhouse. Good Lord.
I've just had a thought, actually. You might not have enough followers so that you can turn your camera on. There she is!
And I don't know what's happened to the green screen, but somewhere up there was my logo. What has happened?
Don't worry about it. We can see you.
Let's just turn it off. Win one of the night.
Yes. There she is. So for those of you who don't know, this is my friend Kelly. Good timing on coming back, Melons, Zoe. Did you see my last message, Zoe, that I sent you on the Telegram? This is Kelly. So Kelly is my friend. She's also a client of mine. And Kelly is absolutely the go-to person in my world for anything hysterectomy support related, and pelvic floor. Before I start rambling about you, do you want to just do an intro, and then anything you forget to say, I'll just ad lib at the end?
So I'll ramble instead of you, is that?
Me and Kelly both have ADHD, and we're an absolute nightmare with conversations. Like, we talk over each other all the time, and we just fucking go off on tangents. So I'm gonna.
My husband says, I hate it when I'm sat there and you two are talking, because you just spend an hour shouting at each other. And then come up with a plan to do something.
Yeah. So this is going to be that, but in the real world. I will mute myself a lot tonight, guys. Anyway, because I'm not the expert on this. Oh yes, I've had a hysterectomy, but Kelly is. So Kelly, do you want to tell people, tell them about what you do, tell them about your Facebook community, all of that stuff, and how you got into this hysterectomy side of things?
Thank you very much. So anyway, yes, I'm Kelly. My profile is hysterectomy_ or _support. So whenever you see that pop up, it is me there. So I'm the creator and founder of Hysterectomy Support and Shared Experiences. And I've been doing this since I had my hysterectomy in 2013. And originally, I just wanted a space where I could ask questions and find my people and find somebody else that was going through what I was going through. I never thought I would be sat here nearly 12 years later with the 60,000 strong Facebook community, a page, an Instagram, a website. I sell courses, I do one-to-ones, all around hysterectomy and pelvic floor support. And if I wasn't busy enough, then now I'm on TikTok as well. So I'm really new to TikTok. So if I miss anything, I'm sure Ren will let you know where to find me. That's a really brief intro.
Yeah.
But yeah, this is the world that I live in. So I spend an awful lot of my time talking about vaginas and various other bodily functions and bodily organs, and that's.
Yes, and Kelly is so new on TikTok as well. She doesn't know all the words yet that she can and can't use without getting us into trouble. So, although I think that one's all right. I've been calling it foo-foo, and I got bananas yesterday. But maybe
we need a code word.
We do.
I'm sure someone in the comments can come up with a code word.
Right, what word should we use for the V word, guys? Money box, flower. Lady Garden.
It would probably actually see. Now I'm just going to end up getting you into more trouble, and that's generally what happens when people come into my world.
Downstairs arrangement, Auntie Mary's, not the ham sandwich flaps.
Ham. I'm just glad nobody said cheese sandwich.
Oh God. Money box. Okay.
Little Miss.
Not
box.
too bad, Zero. That's no. We got a vegetarian in the house. We got a vegetarian in the house. No kebabs. Anyway, yeah, we're probably just gonna get banana just from this fucking intro at this point.
Maybe we'll have to hold back on.
Anyway,
I wish I'd put vodka in that now instead of just water.
But I don't think there's any other words really in context of this discussion that I'm just going to put myself on a big screen that you really need to know about today. I'll tell you about some other stuff. There we go. I just wanted the thing to show up there when we good job text to speech is not on. Absolutely, Jojo. Absolutely. So do you want to share? So I know you said that when you after you had your hysterectomy or before, you wanted to have a place where you could ask questions, and essentially that's why your community is being built. And she does have I think it's 60,000 in her community right now, and you have a book as well. You wrote a book on it, didn't you, as well?
Yep.
You've got a book.
I've got a book. I've got a little notepad for people to share. Like what people want, I tend to just do really, because I mean it's largely just me, and there's only so much that one person can do in terms of time and brain space and REM. Thank God for Remy. But yeah, I mean we're supporting at this exact moment in time around 80,000 people. And the groups, they grow and they get big and they get busy and they can be very overwhelming, which is why we created the smaller spaces. And I started doing the one-to-ones because my background is trauma and therapy and largely in the criminal justice service. And there's a lot of female trauma there, as I'm sure you can imagine.
Yeah.
But that just grew so quickly, and there's one of me. So I needed more of a one-to-many and affordable. You know, there's such a gap for this type of support that's accessible and affordable. So our mission is to find people that need support and offer them ways that they can get that support without remortgaging their houses.
Yeah, absolutely. And so for those of you who don't know, or some of you do know, but obviously I'm a business coach and I'm a business mentor. And one of the things I do is I help people who have a niche or an area of expertise. And then I take what they know and help them turn it into a thing that they can sell, a digital product of sorts. And so that's one of the things that I've helped Kelly with, because she has so many resources, written resources, images and things that can help people. I know. We're just going to have to ignore Zero accountability tonight because they're clearly on one. So that's the type of thing that I do. But I'll talk about that more on Thursday in the business live. Zoe, do you know if any of the people who had previously said they wanted to come up, if they're here or not yet? Just let me know in the chat. That'd be good. And Kelly, Zoe's got control of the boxes, so she can bring people up and drop people down. Mm-hmm. And then the other thing is there are a lot of people. So somebody like me who has had a hysterectomy, I can always, come to somebody like Kelly if I need post-surgery advice. But also there might be a lot of people who have questions about before they have a hysterectomy. Mm-hmm. And there's a multitude of reasons as well, isn't there, why somebody might need a hysterectomy. And then the other area, I'm just jumping around because my brain's jumping around. The other area, that's all right, Melons, don't worry. The other area of topic I think that's really important is the fact that many people women who know in their bodies that they need this, sometimes the medical system doesn't really support and help. So like for me, it took me 4 years of whinging and moaning and going at doctors to get what I needed, what I knew I needed. I was living in pain. I couldn't deal with it anymore. What was your experience like for your hysterectomy? Was it hard to get, or was it fairly simple?
So I had endometriosis and adenomyosis, which I'd had since I was about 17. Abnormal smears, I'd had to have leak processes, various things. It took me 22 years of fighting, the last 10 particularly, because I'm just seeing some comments saying I had to fight. Yeah, I really had to fight because, I mean, I'm fortunate. I do have children. They were grown up. I had a grandchild and I was still being told I might want more children. Like, I couldn't even have more children because I'd had an ablation and a cone biopsy, and the last few years were tough. There were nights that I just spent curled up on my kitchen floor wondering how much longer I could do it. You know, I was trying to live, trying to work, trying to have a social life. So yeah, it was, and compose yourself, Kelly. It was quite a long, hard fight. And then I went to an appointment and I walked in, and by now I'm bleeding like everywhere, constantly everywhere. I'm sleeping on towels. I'm in pain. I'm living off of morphine and codeine as a sticking plaster. And the doctor ignored everything I said. And he said, I think you might need antidepressants. And I said, well, are they going to fix? He said, well, I think you're depressed. Well, of course I'm depressed, but they're not going to fix this problem. And I had a meltdown. And then, fortunately, the next doctor I saw, I just walked in and said, you've got to get rid of this.
Yeah.
And I'm telling you, and he was brilliant. So
it's just interesting. There's a comment from Flaps says, I was lucky my fight was only 18 months. It's the I was lucky part that's getting me. That it's like, and also for women, for us, a lot of the times we're dealing with male doctors who don't have lived experiences of what we have. And even though they're trained, they don't necessarily fully understand the impact of what we're saying sometimes. And then we have to fight and, you know, like beg.
It's exhausting because every single person or medical professional that dismisses your pain takes a little bit more.
Yeah.
And anyway, I was 38 when I had my hysterectomy. I've had 2 surgeries since for endo and adhesions, but I just wanted to, am I okay just to drop into the comments just because?
Yeah, of course you can.
I'm being really clever at the minute, talking, watching and reading.
Welcome to my world.
Second win.
The other thing I will say is that Zoe is keeping questions and stuff. She's got a note. So if you feel like you miss anything, Zoe's capturing it all. And we will talk to some people. But if we dry up with stuff, then we can come back to some of the comments as well. So don't feel like you need to do all the things. We've got the wonderful Zoe on hand. We got Pinks in the box. Pinks, what would you like to say? You're welcome to unmute, my darling. I don't know if I need to invite you to unmute.
Hello.
Hi, Pinks.
Hi, Pinks.
Hello. Can you hear me? I've got my fan on.
Yeah,
I can.
Just let me know. I just want to say thank you for holding such another amazing live. I just want to sort of echo your guys' experience. I had my full hysterectomy. They left my ovaries in of October 2022. I got diagnosed on my 16th birthday at that time of having endometriosis. Before that, I was in and out the doctors, in and out of A&E with pain. They couldn't understand it. So I at that time it was a sexual health clinic. You would get sent there. All of that. I am so blessed. I had a baby at 18, and then I had another one at 19, and then I had a 21. And unfortunately, I lost one a couple of years after that. Throughout my 20s, I was just getting increased amount of pain. I had cysts. I had laparoscopies. And the lady at the top, sorry, I forgot your name.
Kelly.
Ellie, sorry, darling.
Kelly.
Sorry.
Sorry,
If I
Kelly.
get it, thing. My friend Charlie is here just to help me.
Oh,
Okay, that's okay.
you can just take your time, Pinks. Take your time. It's
I'm
like,
trying not to waffle on, but I'm trying to give the most important
yeah, I
details.
get you. I get you.
Yeah. So I had another procedure. It's like a camera that they put down up your phalangopan.
Yeah, I get you.
So they all have got these oscopies and things. I then they put me on tramadol. They put me on cocaine, like heavy medications.
Yeah.
But I also have Ehlers-Danlos syndrome, so I have a couple of other pain conditions as well.
Okay. Yeah.
So just before COVID, I had been sent back to gynecology, like a gynecology clinic, but it wasn't at the hospital. It was, before they give you back to the hospital, if that makes sense.
Yeah,
Like a community clinic.
Yeah, like a community clinic. And I had all of the, ultrasounds and all of that. They said at that time, my cysts were back. They found adenomyosis. They found endometriosis, because what was happening, like Ellie, I was like bleeding profusely. Like it was like a scene out of a crime movie. That's the only way I could.
I totally get it.
Because I wasn't an emergency. They were referring me to. I won't say the hospital. To the hospital. But because I wasn't under an emergency at that time, because obviously COVID was taking priority, they had gone past their certain amount of weeks, put me off of their register or their list, whatever you want to call it. I then had to go back to the GP. Now at that time, trying to get a GP appointment, just all through that, was bloody difficult.
Yeah.
So I had to go all through that, trying to deal with all of what was going on internally inside. Go back to that clinic, have all of that done. Oh, and they blamed you. I'm overweight. I know that they give that excuse to you as well, that you're overweight. Fast forward a little bit. I had a really God must have been looking down on me on this day, because I had a doctor that was only there temporary.
Locum.
Yeah. And we know locum doctors can be either brilliant or not great. Mine one was brilliant. And
Same.
yeah. And he fought for me. He got me back under the hospital. When I was under the hospital, they'd done MRIs, everything. Basically, from having waited so long through that period of time, this is why I might need Charlie. It went to my bladder, it went to my bowels, spread everywhere where you can think of. In the lady department, I had gone up to nearly 20 stone because of it, and I was shut in, no life. I had a 7-hour surgery that was only meant to be 4 hours. Didn't come out from recovery until 11:30 at night. I went down at 2:30 in the afternoon.
Oh dear.
Everything was stuck on my left-hand side. Yeah, I'm feeling okay. I'm just trying to, thingy bob. Trying to get it out, Charlie. Charlie's most amazing. She was there for everything. Like, some things I can't remember because this might sound thingy bob, it was traumatic, but
Oh no, it is traumatic. All of it.
There's a lot of trauma. When I do my one-to-ones, we start off. It very much follows this pattern that tonight's followed, because we start off with a bit of humour, a bit of friendliness. There's always space for the tears and the pain and that trauma. before we then carry on. So please don't hold back. I've been there. I completely understand that.
Thank you. Like, so everything starts on my left hand side, and you know when I was going, like previously, like I was going for a number 2, I would bleed as well, and now just sort of skip a little bit through. So I was rushed back into hospital because I got I can't say the medical words. I got an infection, but it's where the collection of blood is, you know, underneath.
A hematoma.
Yeah. And what happened was from that, it pressed onto my kidney. I then got kidney blockage from that. I thought I had a bowel blockage, but it wasn't that. Went to kidney blockage. I was in there for a week. I didn't think I'd make it out the hospital at that time. That the after effects of it, of all of that, it is just yeah, and I'm now left with incontinence. Yeah, I had when I was just turned 37 a few weeks ago, so incontinence. I have to wear ladies' nappies. Yeah, it's really sexy, but do you know what I mean?
Oh, bless you.
It's the reality, and it's the reality for a lot more people than what you tend to hear speak, because people don't speak about it because they're grieving, they're traumatized, they're embarrassed, they're gaslighted a lot of the time in the medical profession, and they're exhausted.
Yeah.
It's exhausting having chronic illnesses.
Do you know, you're completely right. You're completely right. And my nan died of endometrial C.
Yeah.
So always in the back of my mind, that was coming into my mind. And I just want, if there's younger girls, if a lady's thinking, oh my God, it's this pain is not right, I'm going to the toilet, you know, it's painful. Anything that you think is not normal for your body, please just go. And I know it's hard to get an appointment, and I know you have to fight, and that takes up your time with the fighting, and you're dealing with this pain and everything else. But please do it, because you know,
you're right. You're absolutely right, and however small or irritating or whatever it is, if you feel like something isn't right, you have to go. You have to go and get it checked out. And I'm saying that to myself, who's been putting off a doctor's appointment 3 weeks. But I did book it today, but it's taken me 3 weeks, you know, But equally, what Pinks is saying, she's absolutely right. And because even when you start the journey and you pick up the call and you get an appointment, it's still a case of you still got to fucking fight anyway, you know, so you might as well start it now if there is, you know.
And endometriosis is, I mean, obviously it's my passion project because it took so much of my life as well, Pink, and I know the damage it can do. Since my hysterectomy, had it removed from as far up as my diaphragm and in places that I didn't even know I had. So it's not a disease of the uterus. It's a whole body disease.
Yeah, definitely. And I just want to send big love to everybody, but, you know, big love to you because, you know, and so, I mean,
oh, listen, I tell you what, I didn't actually know that about endometriosis, that it spreads to places. I actually just thought it was an ovary thing. So
there isn't a cure for endometriosis, and I have still in today. So I'll just very quickly tell you, there's 200 million women in the world that suffer with endometriosis, and an average diagnosis takes 8.5 years still today. Now, I'm absolutely certain that if that was a different section of society other than women, there might be a little bit more funding, but that's a different argument. And I
Yes.
will be doing lives over on my channel. I've got live access because I'm learning from some agency at the moment. And that will definitely be a topic, Pinks. And like, my heart goes out to you because I know what a struggle it is, and I know how brave it is to come, especially to a stranger, and talk out. And I'm really grateful to you.
I just, you know, Remy is very good at doing these sorts of lives, and I, when I'm with Remy, I can open up. Do you know what I mean? And it's
Yeah.
Yeah, no, you know, I'll always protect you guys, you know that, and you know I've got a lot of love for you, Pinks, as well. And it is just a shame that we can't do this sort of like in a private space. But one of the things about Kelly is that she does hold space for many people who do need that private space, and I will always refer anybody to Kelly, especially on issues like this, because sometimes it is hard, and we can hear, somebody wrote in the comments, we can hear your trauma, like we can all feel it, and it's so brave of you to come up and share. And there are other people like CG's up here now because she completely relates and gets your story, and you know, it is a shame that we can't do this in a more private, closed off space, and we've got to be delicate with the information that we share, but we do appreciate you coming up, Pinks, and sharing.
And I do have private spaces, and obviously this is Remy's channel. She's been really kind to invite me here, and I'm new on TikTok. I'm not at all new in this world, but I have private spaces. I have monthly pre-op calls, post-op calls, various other... I tend to use Zooms. I can see everybody saying WhatsApp group and Teams. I tend to use Zooms, but Remy and I will find some way of connecting you in with that support, because I've got it if you need it.
you know, I would love to help in any way that I can. You know, because I was quite a younger girl, I suppose, going through it, woman, whatever, you know. And I think you said you were 38. Or was
When
that
I had my hysterectomy, you can tell I'm not 38 now.
No.
I don't even know how old I am now. I have to think about these. 47 now.
You're the same age as me, yeah.
But it's normally a hysterectomy is they normally associate that with being an older lady, don't they? Like,
they do, and that's, you know, that's a myth these days. But I think it's that the services and the spaces aren't there for people to connect, which was exactly my experience. And like you say, safe spaces.
Yeah. I mean, I'm only a little person, and I did try and document some of my journey, but obviously with what happened, that went by the by, you know. So, but I wanted to see if there was even one
connect
person.
with me.
I would love to. I would love to.
Just
and
drop me a message. I might not get back to you this evening, but I will get back to you in the next day, and that goes for everybody that needs to reach out. Like my inbox, I'm absolutely sure it's open. Again, I'm quite new to TikTok, but we'll come and give me a follow and drop into my inbox, she says. But I will find a way of finding you all.
I'll help you with your inbox tomorrow. But yeah, please, if you're sitting here watching or ghost watching and you're like, you know, I want more information on this, please, Kelly is the person to go to. Her account is hysterectomy_support. You can follow her from here. She's sitting in the box, and you can reach out because she has an unlimited amount of resources. Hey, Debs. And she also has she has space, and she holds space for people. And as you've heard from her own story, she has experience of endometriosis, with hysterectomy, trauma. Like, honestly, like, make sure you are giving Kelly a follow.
And pelvic floor. And I think we're probably going to need space for discussions on all of these, because they're just too big to throw in
all together
into one. But just for people that are watching, because I am watching some comments and taking, again, somebody said, why do people have a hysterectomy? What's the start? There are so many gynecological reasons that, again, we probably can't cover them all tonight. And somebody else said, what is a hysterectomy? And that's one of the things I get asked an awful lot, and is something that happened to me when I marched in and said, this is enough, you're getting rid of this. And they launched into all of these, you know, your cervix, your fallopian tubes, your this, your that. We know the main bits. They start talking about sacral ligaments, this. And I sat on a bench outside and thought, I don't actually know what he was talking about. And do I need this or don't I need, which bits do I need to keep? Like, and you feel really stupid as somebody that's supposed to, you know, we're supposed to know our bodies and know this. You don't need to know things until you need to know things, if that makes sense. So I just thought that was a really important point to make.
Could you explain what a hysterectomy is, just for people?
Can. So a hysterectomy is removal of, I have to be careful of these words because I don't want to get into trouble, is removal of the uterus. And that's it. There's different types of hysterectomy. So again, there's so much lingo that there needs to be some demything about it. But essentially, a partial hysterectomy will just take your uterus. So that will leave everything else, your cervix, tubes, ovaries. A total hysterectomy will take your cervix as well, and is more common, to be honest, because your uterus and your cervix are joined. So sometimes they're just easier to get out all in one. 9 times out of 10, there are not that many benefits apart from personal attachment to keeping the cervix, in my opinion. Again, everybody's different. Tubes, ovaries are actually a different type of surgery, but can all be done together, which is more of a radical hysterectomy. There's a lot of different ways of performing the surgery. So some's laparoscopic, some's robotic, some's open abdominal, some's still that word that I don't think we can say.
It's paginal.
That's the one. Okay, flaps to the wind says I only have ovaries. So that's a total hysterectomy. Did that, everything's gone really quiet. Did that answer in general? I'm trying not to give long, complicated answers.
That was fine. No, that was really helpful. Faces, there's no one should ever feel stupid and ask all the questions they need.
Absolutely not.
To medical professionals. Fuck me, professionals, no matter what.
I love that we can say fuck me and we can't say vagina.
Well, I do until I get bananas, but
I'm nodding along even though you can't see me.
I can see you.
No, I'm reading. Sorry, I was reading the comments. You should know what I'm doing, Rem.
Sorry. If anybody wants to come up to the box, just request the box. Like, we want to hear your story. CG's just had to drop down because the kids are kidding, but she'll be back.
Okay, somebody did want to come into the box. I can't find it now.
I think it's Lindsay. Hi, Lindsay.
Okay.
Can you hear us okay?
Yes, darling. What would you like to say?
Yeah, so my story's a little bit different to the lady before. And hats off to you, Pinks, for coming on and speaking about that. You were really brave. So my hysterectomy was a year gone May last year, and it came as quite a surprise. So just a little backstory. So when I had my daughter, she's 16 now, and she was a big baby, and we had a very complicated birth. Mm-hmm. And there were like different things that needed to be sorted out after that. So when I had her, she was a big baby. She was 11.1 £1. So obviously, she was
crossing my legs, literally. Bless you.
Yeah. So obviously, after I had her, there was a few complications after that, and I also had sort of like a separation of the stomach wall. So from having her when she was 16, my stomach always like protruded. Even when I lost like baby weight, I still had like a sort of a protruding, like pregnancy looking stomach. So everything was fine, and roll forward to it was like during like COVID time when it was difficult to get like a doctor's appointment. Mm-hmm. I was on the coil at the time, so I wasn't having any sort of monthlies or anything like that. And then all of a sudden they just came from nowhere, so, with abundance. So I tried to contact the doctors, but at the time you couldn't get sort of a face-to-face appointment. It was more, like online type of thing. And to be honest, I just put it to one side. So I'm a busy single mum, like working. So I normally just push a bit like Remy, pushing appointments for myself to the side and just concentrate on my daughter. Yeah, so I just left it and that was it. And then February last year, I woke up one day, I had been completely fine. There hadn't been much, bleeding or anything like that. So I woke up this morning and I physically couldn't get out of bed. I had like the worst stomach pain I ever experienced, like worse than the childbirth. So I ended up having to go into A&E and they diagnosed us with appendicitis. They were ready to take the appendix out. So I was ready in the surgical ward with the stockings on, everything ready to go and have my appendix taken out. Just beforehand, the surgeon came down and said, we want to do like a CT scan just to check. And when I went in for it, they said, oh, you've got a like really large dermoid cyst, sort of like lying across. So we can't operate today and a gynecologist will get in touch with you. So that went on for about, I think it was about 6 or 7 weeks. And eventually I heard from the gynecologist and they said when they had reviewed it, it was like quite large and they weren't really sure whether the CT scan was correct. So when I went in to see the gynecologist, she gave like sort of the approximate measurements. Obviously they can't tell exactly, but they give the approximate measurements of it. And it was like 25 centimetres by 18 centimetres by 7 centimetres. So it was pretty big. It was like
Monster.
it was absolutely huge. So because of where it was, the reason why they thought it was appendicitis, it was pressing on the appendix. So it was causing them like that sort of symptom. So she said, obviously we need to get it out as soon as possible. So we'll book you in for a surgery. So just casually during the conversation, she said, depending on where it's lying, we might need to take like more things away. So I was more worried, thinking that it was a bigger problem, like maybe the C word or something like that. So I was like quite worried about that. So I was like, yeah, that's fine, just get it out. So I went for my surgery and it was meant to be like a keyhole surgery just to remove it, but due to the size,
Too big, yeah.
Oh, huge. So I ended up having, I'm not sure how to word it with the restriction.
Up and down cut.
Yeah, so it was like a T-shaped cut. So it was basically like hip to hip and then up to like belly button type of thing. And they said, obviously, once we get in there, we don't know what damage has been caused and how long it's been there. So that's when they ended up having to do sort of a full hysterectomy as well. So that obviously came as quite a shock. I mean, I'm 44-year-old and I've been a single parent for 14 years. I didn't have any.
It's still a shock though, and I think there's always something like people's. I'd finished my family. Other people have these things like you when you were 44 and you weren't interested in more children. You still grieve. You still want that option, and somebody's taken it away from you.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, to be honest, I wasn't really as bothered about the hysterectomy side of it. It was because it pushed us into like early menopause, which is still going on now, and I feel like that's a whole different.
It is. We are going to do one of these, but a menopause one, because again, we're just doing too wide a topic else, but it definitely needs its own space. And I think any woman that's perimenopausal, menopausal, or is in the camp that are learning because they're hearing more about it now and is actually just worried about what's going to happen, we need that conversation. But I feel you and hear you on that one, Lindsay, and I'm sure there's a lot of collective heads nodding.
I had heard of a hysterectomy before, and I've had friends who have had one before, and I hadn't really realised what it meant and like the recovery time. Obviously, my operation was not the operation, but the scar type thing obviously affected a little bit longer. But I feel like there needs to be more, education, because a lot of people really don't know what it is and what it entails to the.
And I think that's why Kelly's group. I think that's why Kelly's group is as big as it is, because it's people. There's like over 60,000 in a group who are there looking for information, looking for answers, because they're not necessarily getting it from, medical professionals. Thanks, Debs. And it is important why conversations like this happen.
Yeah, definitely.
Really
I think it's not really something that nobody learns about, and it's not really a subject that you speak about.
No.
And even when people have them, they don't really go into that much detail, do they? So,
And that's the thing. It's like, if you have a hysterectomy, but nobody in your circle's got a hysterectomy, like, where do you go to talk about it, or to ask questions, or if things don't feel right? There's no. Do you know what I mean? There's nowhere to go. Your doctors don't have the time to help and support you with that sort of stuff. The aftercare is like a piece of paper.
Most doctors won't even tell people about how important pelvic floor is, and that's not just after hysterectomy. That's right the way through. And pelvic floor health is probably a wider term, because pelvic floor is something people only learn about when there's a problem, rather than learning about how to look after it.
Yeah.
All the way through, and how to protect it. Flap says, I didn't even know it had a cuff. That's a massive, massive topic, because people don't know. They don't know what's there instead, why it's there.
And I've had so many prolapses after my hysterectomy, and prolapse surgeries and repair surgeries, awful.
yeah, I think the follow-up sort of care as well. I haven't had one face-to-face appointment with the doctor or the gynecologist.
Absolutely shocking.
Yeah, nothing. It's crazy.
They take organs and, stitch you and move things, and you don't even get the chance to have a follow-up and ask those questions.
Yeah.
Don't get me on my soapbox. This is not the space.
Even when I went to see the nurse, for when you take sort of bandages off and things like that, because of where mine was, and it was actual stitches as opposed to keyholes. When I went to see her, she was just like, "Yeah, that's fine, take it off," and that's it. And there was no follow up, nothing at all. It's crazy.
So Melons to the Wind has just said, what's a cuff? And I don't know if this is your experience, Lindsay, in that they don't explain. It's not such a common term in the UK as it is in America, but essentially it's where they remove. Am I allowed to say the CERVIX word? Cervix. When they remove that, it's stitched up. So almost like the inside of a sock at the top, something. They stitch everything back together so that everything doesn't fall out, is the really brutal way of putting it. But people don't understand that until they start hearing language and hearing things, and then they say, have I got that? And the amount of women that then come back to me and say, I didn't even know they were taking that.
Yeah, I didn't know that until right now.
There.
That's crazy.
It is mad, isn't it? It is mad. How little, it's our bodies, but how little information we're told. There's no follow-up care. I was saying to Kelly that obviously for me, I've had, I think, 3 prolapses, maybe 4, I can't remember, and surgeries, and I've had an abundance of problems. And because everything was pulling down, it meant I had back problems that basically meant I couldn't really walk. I ended up in a mobility scooter. I had spasms nearly daily that would leave me on the floor of supermarkets because all my muscles were it was just mad. And I said to Kelly, I think it's taken me 3 years, 4 years for everything to settle where it needs to settle after surgery, that I actually feel moderately like I did, in previous to that. So I don't know. So I think some people think you have the surgery and then it will instantly fix things. And I think, so for somebody like me who, whether it was done correctly, whether things were, whatever, I had prolapses, I had things hanging out of me for a long time. It was uncomfortable, painful, awful, and and it's taken years for my body to feel like everything is now where it should be.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, you've seen me in pain. Yeah, you know what it's like. Like it's
I have.
bad. It's been really bad.
Yes, Debbie is the answer. Yes, fabulous Debs.
Yeah, it's
Pelvic floor does help with prolapse. Pelvic floor can be preventative. It can be maintenance of look, 1 in 4 women will suffer a prolapse at some point in their lives, and research is really sketchy around pelvic floor and prolapse. There is a slightly increased risk after hysterectomy, but trying to get a cross-section of population that are a similar age, with a similar lifestyle, with a similar amount of previous partners or the personal life, that have similar jobs with similar lifting, that have had similar children, childbirth experiences, is pretty much impossible. The biggest factors by far are age and menopause.
Yeah.
So, but it's more than just exercises. Being able to relax it properly is just as important. Diet, health, there's a lot more to it than just squeeze, release, squeeze, release, squeeze, release, which we all do at the traffic lights, don't we? And nobody knows. And like you look and you think, you don't know what I'm doing. Yeah, everybody now. But there's an art to knowing where the muscles are and what the muscles are, and you know, another wide. Lindsay, I'm sorry, I think we kind of jumped in, and I know that Pinks would like to add something.
No, CG,
sorry, I thought I
CG.
saw a
CG's
message from
got-
Pinks.
Hello. I've never been in a box before. Can you hear me?
Yes, hello CG.
Hi.
And I'll go.
I don't.
Is
Sorry.
it all right if
Go on.
if I quickly add something and then I'll go, because I don't want to take up the box. It's just, you know, I forget some things when I'm talking. It's just that, you know, when I was saying about that, about my bowels were affected, within when I was having the hysterectomy, I had to have the bowel surgeon in there as well.
Mm-hmm.
There's been a possibility of me having to have a bag, but they wasn't sure until they went in there. But what they did something called, it's got a technical name. I can't
bowel
say the
resection.
technical name.
You've gone all muffly, Pinks.
Sorry, can you hear me?
Went all muffly. We can hear you now.
Oh, sorry. Oh,
Was it a
I don't know
resection, Pinks?
No, they thought they would have to, but it was the shaving, so they had to take off the endometriosis, what was basically attached to the bowel, that was there. And also, I just wanted to say that I know that I had like a worst case scenario after, but if someone is out there and I think, oh God, no, I couldn't go through that, please, I better for it now than I was before. And you know, like I said to you, I went up to like 19 stone. I've lost nearly 4 stone now. I'm not mobile, I can't run, I can barely walk, but I can do a little bit more than what I did previously. So if they, I didn't want to go and then think, oh my God, I've worried someone if they are thinking of it. Please go, please get yourself sorted. And and Remy, please go to the doctor.
Oh yeah, look, my stuff's not about that stuff. It's just other shit that I need to take care of. But I will.
Have to go.
I've booked the appointment 8:40 on Friday. All right, I've booked it.
Because I'll message you and say I'm going to give you a kick up the butt. Or will I get banned for that? Well,
I have booked it.
And I'm happy you're wearing pink. Now you've removed me from the building, and lots of love, everybody. Thank you for listening.
Thank you, Pink. Sending you lots of love.
Nice to meet you, Ellie.
Big love to you, Pink. So make sure you get in touch with Kelly, okay?
Oh, Kelly. I thought her name was Ellie.
Kelly, I said it twice.
I've been called worse.
I'm a bit, you know, you'll understand afterwards. Lots of love. Thank you.
You did great, Pinks. Lots of love. Bye, darling.
Bye. Bye.
Remy, is it okay if you drop me out? I can't work out how to do it and I need to go
Of
off.
course I will. Listen, thank you so much for coming up and
Thank you,
sharing with
Lindsay.
me.
No worries, thank you, bye.
Take care, darling.
Bye.
Hello.
CG, sorry it's taken so
Fine.
long. Sorry, darling.
I might disappear. My children have just.
They come back in.
end each other's lives over a Barbie. I was going to come up before when we were talking about make sure you go to the doctor. Mine's similar but different. I'm 41. Month after my 40th birthday, I was diagnosed with stage 3 ovarian cancer that had spread to my bowel. And I went to the doctor because I had some strange stomach pain, and my dad had died of bowel cancer, and my aunt had been diagnosed with bowel cancer.
Can
So
we
I
just
was-
say C instead of the word?
Sorry, I'm sorry. C.
No, it's
sorry
fine,
if that's
it's fine,
triggering
just
anyone.
moving
It's
forward.
TikTok, not you, CG.
I'm sorry, I'm just
Yeah,
so
it's not
used to
you.
talking about it. I have no filter when it comes to it. So I went to the doctor because I was scared, and I wanted them to tell me that I just had anxiety and there was nothing wrong with me, when obviously there was. So I had to have a hysterectomy, full, radical, everything out, immediate. And I can't take HRT because of the C and the hormone risk.
Yeah.
So I manage my delightful hot flushes through just taking venlafaxine, which is a type of antidepressant.
Yep.
I mean, it has helped. I do still suffer with them, but it does help with the fact that I'm very level mood-wise when it comes to it. So I probably, if I ever come off it, I will suddenly start processing everything I've been through when I'm still quite... And also just because it just came up in conversation as well, because, you know, I'll share everything about my life. Because I had stage 3 cancer that had spread to my bowel, I had such a large portion of my bowel removed that I do have a stoma, which I don't think I'll be able to get reversed because of what's left. So I just wanted to declare that because the stigma of them does need to end. And if anybody does have to end up with one, it's not always for life. And believe me, when I first had it, it was hard to get my head around. But now, a year and a half later, it's like second nature. It's nothing to be scared of. I just wanted to sort of, you know, spread the awareness on that. And yeah, if anybody had any sort of questions or anything about how you deal with plunging straight into medical menopause with no ability to control it in any way, I'm here. And if anybody wants to sort of talk about it, but
well, next week, CG, we're doing a menopause live. That's the next week. So yeah, your input on that would be really, really welcomed.
and yeah, in terms of like side effects from the hysterectomy, I didn't really notice many, but I was going through everything else at the time as well.
Of course.
But, touch wood, finished my chemotherapy, nearly finished my immunotherapy. So fingers crossed I might start feeling more like a normal human being, but just with many fewer organs.
Yeah, oh bless you.
Yeah, that's a journey. How long is it until you finish your immunotherapy now?
I've got my penultimate one on Thursday.
Wow.
And then start of August. So fingers crossed, everything's looking good. But it's hard. It makes you really tired. And then with everything else that's happened. So yeah, fingers crossed. Oh, look, so the first 5 coins I've ever been given on TikTok. I've never
See, I keep seeing powder puffs and things come up, but if somebody's somehow sending me something and I just don't understand how this works yet, then I am so grateful and thank you, and I will work it out, and you'll probably find that
coins.
you're going to have to tell me what I do. Do I just give these coins to other people? Like, that's another conversation, but yeah.
Say thank you to people for gifting you. That's
I've
what you got to do.
literally only just realised that that's been happening. So
Come back to Remy.
Everything. The whole point of being here is that anything we get goes straight back into my community. So
yeah,
that's all I can tell you. That's.
You're
but
fine.
yeah, thank you.
You've earned about 12p. You're welcome.
Woo! Go me!
Oh, you just got a couple more. Somebody else just sent you some as well.
Honestly, you keep going like this and I'll be celebrating with a glass of wine and then I'll be up all night flushing and sweating and...
Flat says, I adore Kelly already. Kelly is the best.
Oh, I love you all.
But I'll disappear. I'll be here, but in the
CG, thank you for sharing that,
CG,
darling.
thank you. Good luck with the rest of your journey. And if, I know that you're going to go through a period where you know, all these things are finished, and it's just you sat there going, whoa.
Yeah.
And that sometimes is, sometimes isn't. You know where I am now. You know who I am.
Followed you.
And I know
you.
my inbox is open because I keep seeing messages come up. So that's something.
I don't want to come up here and make people panic and think, oh no, I've got this symptom. And ovarian C is difficult because it is masked by so many symptoms that people say is the perimenopause. And all of my friends, as soon as we turn 40, it's like the number one topic of conversation is the perimenopause.
Yeah.
All the things that I listed when I went to the doctor, and they were like, you shouldn't have just lived with this, but you excuse things because you think, I'm a woman,
blame it on the menopause.
Now,
Yeah, absolutely.
So I don't want to make anybody scared. I think we need to raise awareness. And also I was just joining this as my surgical hysterectomy with sort of alternative reasons rather than the endometriosis reason. So yeah, I will, if you can throw me out, because I have no idea, and I will be in the
and
for the rest of the night.
Thank you though, because it does raise awareness, and they're things that we need to understand and take notice of, and not blame on the menopause.
No, definitely not.
Thank you,
Thank
Suji,
you very
darling.
much. All right, bye.
Big loves. We got Zoe in the box. Hey, Zoe.
Hi guys, I wanted
Hey, Zoe.
to put a bit of a different take on things, because I'm not going to lie, I've sat here crying for about the last 10 minutes.
Oh, darling.
So
Okay.
I was talking to you earlier about it, Remy, and
You were.
endometriosis has run in my family probably for generations. My grandma had to have a hysterectomy when she was in her late 40s. My mum spent from the age of 14 her whole life being gaslit by medical professionals, having issues with her periods and all the rest of it, and she got really sick because of it, and she ended up in the ICU, and it was really serious. And even after that, she still had to spend another 2 years trying to fight for her hysterectomy, to the point where she actually changed hospitals and went and found a specialist that would listen to her. But my situation now is that I've got it and I'm going through it, and at the age of 32.
I know, it's scary, darling. I know.
I didn't think I'd get emotional, but
It's okay.
I'm now having to fight so that I can exist and function for my children. But I'm frightened of what the outcome's going to be. I'm not ready for what the outcome's going to be.
Yeah.
And it's really difficult, because it's like a lot of, because I know deep down I would never have another child, like I wouldn't, but the fact that I know that I need a hysterectomy.
Zoe, do you have any other correlating gynecological issues, if you don't mind me asking?
In what way?
Are you aware of anything else other than the endometriosis causing these problems?
No, so I've had loads of scans and things, and the last scan I went for, it was just an ultrasound, and the lady that did my ultrasound basically told me that based on the symptoms I've got, it's likely going to be endometriosis, and that she can't see it on the scan, but it doesn't always show on the scan, and that I need to get my GP to refer me to gynae so I can have a laparoscopy.
Yeah. That is the only way to accurately diagnose it.
Yeah.
Occasionally it can show on MRI, but more often than not. I'm going to give you a little bit of a truth bomb. A hysterectomy will not cure endometriosis, because endometriosis is always outside of the uterus, always outside. Adenomyosis is inside. Having said that, it didn't cure my endometriosis. I've had 2 surgeries since, but it improved the quality of my life significantly because I wasn't bleeding out all the time.
This is and this is what, like, 'cause this is what my mum's been through. She had endometriosis and I can't even say it,
adenomyosis. And hysterectomy is the only cure for adenomyosis. I've just seen Pink say that.
She had both, and she's like I say, she's had to fight and she's had to do a lot of research herself, and she's still fighting now because she knows through her symptoms, she knows that the endometriosis is still there. She knows that it's still affecting her bladder, it's still affecting her bowels. She now even, based on like locations of her pain and things like that, she's got a sneaky suspicion that it's spread into her lungs. And the reason, like, and this is my thing, like, I've got so much fear based on what she's been through.
Yeah.
Because we know my sister's got it. She's had a diagnosis. We know my mum had it, my grandma's had it. With all the symptoms I've got, and like, I was diagnosed 7 years ago. I was diagnosed with fibromyalgia.
Yeah.
And my mum, like, now when I look at my mum now, when I look at me, our symptoms are practically identical. So the chance, and like I've done a lot of research, and there has been quite a lot of misdiagnosis of fibromyalgia actually being related to endometriosis.
And chronic fatigue is another big one that's usually correlated.
And so my mum's really pushing, and like I said to Remy before, my mum's even telling me that she's going to pay for me to go and see this private specialist, because obviously she's looking at me and she sees what she was like 10 years ago, and her thing is the sooner I have the hysterectomy, I can hopefully slow things down a bit.
Okay, I can help you with that. My last surgery was a full excision and adhesions, because, like, I think it was Pink's had said, like, my bowel was adhesed to my stomach, so it couldn't work, it couldn't squeeze because it was stuck. But I paid privately to go and finally get the treatment that I hadn't got out of 11 operations in the NHS. They are starting to do it in the NHS now, but I can give anybody that needs great endometriosis resources, a great community that only does endo, but they are so factual. You don't get any of the bullshit there and the noise and the chaos. And again, specialists. Yeah, I can help you with that. Free. I'm not just here peddling my services. I have that information and can share it with you.
I'd appreciate that, because it becomes a minefield.
Yeah, it does, and it's exhausting. And funny enough, I saw a meme today, and this actually happened to me. And the meme was something about, the doctor saying, I've had 6 years of medical training, I know what I'm talking about. And somebody saying, I've had this for 20 years and you have to know about all these things. I only have to know about one. So forgive me if your hour's lecture on women's health is not as good as my knowledge. And so don't.
I have monthly debates with my doctor about his extensive knowledge.
I have lots of fights. Yeah, I have lots of fights with lots of doctors.
They're trained in general medicine. They're not the specialists, so it's not their call to make.
The majority of gynecologists here aren't endo specialists at all.
Yeah.
No, and it's been really hard because my mum actually went to see an endo specialist at St Mary's, and he was really good, but he's retired now. So now she's having to find another endo specialist because now there isn't an endo specialist at St Mary's anymore.
No, there isn't, and they closed the endo clinic there. I believe they moved it to University College. I've got them all, so
I think she's looking at one in Oldham, but I'm not.
okay. I went to Birmingham.
Yeah, but no.
But having said that, I know that we have, and I've just seen somebody say, I've got the best GP. There are good people out there. You have to go find them sometimes, and sometimes you get lucky. But I'm not knocking the whole profession at all, because there are some absolute diamonds out there, and there are some people working really, really hard to be able to help people with this. And somebody else, I think, and I hear this day after day, they just give me pain management after telling me it's spread after a hysterectomy. That's called gaslighting in my book. Pain management's important, but it's not helping with the actual problem that we need to be solving collectively as a society, as women and medical professionals and everything else that we are.
This is it. And when you start to have sort of issues with your women's health, it affects everything. It doesn't just affect your physical life. It affects you emotionally. Like, I'm not gonna lie, it's affected my relationship massively. Yeah.
And I think just one last thing to point out, just because I know that you're so scared as well, Zoe, is the amount of endo very rarely correlates to the amount of pain or the amount of symptoms. You can have a very small amount of endo and an awful lot of pain, or you can have a lot with minimal symptoms.
Yeah.
So I know
I probably am like reading into it way more than probably what I need to.
I don't think you're reading into it. I think the education's important and the knowledge, because it'll help you get the best treatment later on.
Yeah, and this is what, and I know I need to, and it's that thing of putting it off. I keep putting it off. Because
can I just ask, because obviously I've never had endo, right? And I've only learned tonight that it can spread around your body. Is it some form of C? Is that what it is?
No, it's not.
What is it?
It's tissue. It's endometrial tissue that grows outside of the uterus. So it's very hormonal. It can react to hormones. It can bleed as hormones. It's incredibly sneaky, very clever. It's very, very good at hiding. So in worst cases, it can be infiltrating. So it's under the skin. It's under the mucus. It's under the tissues.
And is it like suffocating organs, or is it?
Yeah, it can do.
Oh God, that's scary. I don't know.
In the worst cases, but yeah, it's commonly known as a. Oh gosh, look, I've forgotten the word now.
DG just said it sticks things together.
Yeah, that's the adhesions that it can leave. It's seen as a women's health sort of reproductive system illness, and it's not a reproductive system illness because it can spread lungs. Yeah. There was a recent case of it being found in a man very, very early, and I think there's only been 2 cases, but there was endometrious tissue.
Oh, so, Emma says it can be C too. I didn't know. I've never had it, so I've never really explored it, and I don't know much about it. Like I said, tonight is the first time I've heard that it can actually spread to other organs. It's mad. Sorry, Zoe, I interrupted the end of you. Did you want to add anything else? We've got Jojo and Laura up here as well.
Hello. I hope that wasn't my phone, actually.
No, I came off mute. I'm so sorry.
No, don't worry. That was me having a heart attack.
It's me.
Somehow TikTok had connected to my WhatsApp and...
No.
Zoe, are you okay if I jump on, or did you want to add something else, babe?
No, it's fine.
All right. Thank you, my darling. Hey, Jojo.
Hello. Hi, Remy. You look beautiful in that pink. It really
Oh,
suits
well,
you.
thank you very much.
Hello, Kelly. Lovely to virtually meet you. I'm Jojo. I wanted to ask a question and I will explain why. Firstly, I want to say I have fibro and chronic fatigue. My fibro, they think, was brought on by a road traffic accident about 7, 8 years ago. So that's that. But I've had problems with periods and hormones since having had my children, and I'm 52. Things were different then, they're different now, they were different in between, but with so many things going on at once, having had my children, having these crazy symptoms. I will try and condense this down so I don't overload you. I'm just trying to get it out with that in a flow.
I get you.
Feel free to stop me at any point.
I will.
So basically, sadly, in amongst all of this, I didn't know it was raging hormones at the time. Had my second child after my mum had sadly passed away from cervical C.
Okay.
And every single thing that was going on with me was blamed on grieving. And one day I said to my doctor, look, I'm sweating out of one armpit. How can that be grieving? Please listen to me, basically. Even I'd started to... Sorry, that was another alert come through. Even I'd started to realise this can't all be that. So it turned out I had a hormone imbalance, which they treated with antidepressants because they said the brain does not recognise that your mood swings up and down may be due to depression or hormone imbalance. So that was their reason for giving me them. They also treated it with something called cyclogest, I think that's how you pronounce it, which was a beautiful pessary. I'll leave that there.
Yeah.
And that was that, really. Just managed my symptoms now. And in amongst this, I realised I was having the symptoms of menopause, but not going through the menopause. Very strange, but that's what was going on. But it was just sort of left and I just plodded on. So fast forward to of late, and I have had the heavy peas, and also I've got lymphedema, just to mix it up even further. So I've always been a very petite on the top half and almost look like someone's done a body swap on the bottom. So like a size 12 at the top and could be like a 16 to 18 at the bottom. But I've always had a completely tiny waist. You could see my ribs. I was very lucky even after the children. I went back down to weight. So even when I put weight on, it never normally goes on my tummy, even at my age. But recently, with things that have been going on without going on for a year and a day, I've noticed all of a sudden, like, you would think I was a beer drinker. I've got this tummy, and I actually, going up and down to the doctors with fibro, everything's lumped onto fibro. I've noticed that. So I've got this doctor who is amazing, and she will, rather than have you there worrying or her not knowing, she sends you to get it looked at and sorted. So me explaining that my peas were really heavy and all the other things that can come with that, and this change in the shape of my stomach from under my ribs down, you know yourself, IBS goes along with fibro, so it's you just got so many things in the mix. So anyway, cutting a long story short, I went for the scan inside and out, basically. Not scan, scan. And it showed that I had a fibroid and then some thickening to the endometrium.
Yep.
So being them, they did it under the 12-week thing, which nearly gave me a H attack when I saw that on the note saying fast track for suspected C, which that's not what they'd said to me. So I rang my doctor up and I had tears. Now she went, no, it's awful, but we have to do it like that to get you seen quicker. Which is something, aside from this, I'm going to be raising with pals, because I think that's terrible to do,
I've had the same thing, Jojo. I've had a letter with the same thing.
Oh
Mine
my
turned out it
God.
was C, but it was scary seeing that because up until that point, also had no idea.
No, and do you know what I said to her? I went through the cervical C with my mum, and she had her periods were so bad that she used to stay in bed. Back in them days, if you missed your appointment for your smear, the doctor come knocking on the door. I was too young to know. Sadly, she buried her head in the sand and ultimately paid the price, and as did, we being her daughter. So it's a very traumatic. I've got PTSD that would just, it's all just coming to light through things like this. So
Yeah.
to see that, I get that it's a 12-week thing, but they use codes for everything else. Like I've researched, so I know that when the consultants put 32, I know what that means now. It was 31 last time. Now it's 32. So I know that it's ongoing. I'm under care. I'm under observation because I've researched it. But why don't they put a code? So that's another thing.
Yeah, that's another topic. Let's keep moving.
Yeah, keep moving. Sorry. So that was that. So what they have said is that the endometrium, it's hyperplasia, but they did hysteroscopy and the biopsy.
Yeah.
I had that done. It was actually easy. I didn't need any pain relief or anything. They just did it. I was like, oh no, they said to me,
good.
soldier, I was yabbling on, that's how I'll get through everything. And that's what I said to them. I don't need gas and air. I want to drive home after, but I will talk my way through it. So that's what I did. So anyway, had it done, and luckily it isn't the big C. Thank you above and whoever's around looking after me. However, there is the thickening, there is hyperplasia, and what they've said is my doctor has explained that there were 3 slides that they looked at, 3 scrapings, whatever it is, and it's there's a possibility of EIN within the tissue, but one slide said no completely, the other was undecisive. So obviously they want to protect me, but my attitude is this: I don't see the point. And I also had the coil fitted, the Mirena.
Yeah. I was going to say progesterone will help stop that lining getting any thicker. They will probably monitor it. So it's a little bit like when you have your smear, it will pick up some small changes that might not be changes, but they will monitor it in case. So EIN is a similar kind of thing to CIN. It's just kind of the staging. It's codes, I guess.
Yeah.
Again.
So I've researched this extensively. So I am actually, I'm getting the grips of what's going on. Yeah. My question to you is, I am of this thought: I do not want any more children. I have bad periods. I have got a fibroid. I don't want to be having to go through biopsies every however long, up and down, with that fear in my mind. So my thought is, get me in, get rid, move me on. Now that might sound cold to other people, but that's how I feel.
I don't think so. I think that's sometimes we have to make those choices, and sometimes the fear of something can, our brains will look for things to feed those fears, and it overtakes your life. It affects every part of your life.
Yeah.
There is always a big part of me, like, you should never shame somebody that just can't deal with all of the problems.
So what I'm going to do, this is what I've thought about whilst listening to everybody. I am going to research some more. Then I am going to document more. I am going to give them a presentation as to why I am going to have this hysterectomy. Yeah. I know the pluses, I know the against. I know that I've got lipedema, as I've said to you. I'm lucky I've got lympholipedema. I've got both. I say lucky, I don't mean that. So I am going to do my utmost to try and lose a bit of weight, but I've already researched that, and the V hysterectomy is perfectly fine. They're trying. The other thing about obesity.
Okay. Like we'll probably pick this up again. Drop into my inbox. Give me a follow. If the fibroids are large, the V type might not be suitable because
not large.
You might have a bulkier uterus, for want of a better term. But again, that's a doctor. surgeon, but I see absolutely no reason, like, why suffer when you don't have to suffer
No, and the
have
mental
all of that fear.
torture, and then it
Yeah.
could happen. I'm just going to say before I stop that my doctor, because I said to her, you know, what is it with the obesity? And she said, people think that when, you know, you're obese and basically you've got the fat in you, that it just sits there. It doesn't. The hormones and the fat feed into these different conditions, triggering, latching on, all of that, and it can make it worse. So I do get that sense, but so you think it's not
I don't think it's an
unreasonable.
unreasonable thing to put to your doctors and talk to them about.
My
and
doctor's already
the
said speak
opinions.
to the gynaecologist, so that's
Yeah.
exactly what I'm doing, and I'm not backwards and coming forward.
And
So
get
I will
all of the
do.
information and
I
make the
will.
best decision for you.
I'm
Yeah,
going to
100%.
present them with not a business case, but a patient case as to why I should have this, is what I'm
Yeah.
doing. And with that, I'll leave that there.
All right. Well,
Thank you
if
for
I
having
can
me.
help you, just give me a shout. But thank you, and thank you
No.
for sharing that.
Thank you so much.
And make sure everyone follows Hysterectomy Support, which is Kelly up there. Give her a support. Any more questions, just get in her inbox. All right, we're going to move on to Laura, who's been waiting patiently. Hi, Laura.
Hi, can you hear me?
Hello, darling.
Hi. First time in a box. Apologies if I sound like I'm 5. I'm actually 40. So, what I found is I've listened to everyone and I've had pretty much the same horror stories, which is the only way I can describe my experience.
Yeah.
Comment is slightly different. I don't know if Kelly is aware of this, but I actually volunteer with the NHS at the moment, and I work on a service that is self-management for people with long-term health conditions such as chronic fatigue, depression. But also, we do teach people how to live with any long-term condition, how to cope with it, how to speak to a professional in a way where the professional will listen to what is said. So we teach you how to tell your doctor exactly what you need and not have that response from the doctor where they tell you what you actually need.
Love that.
I love
It's
that.
it's completely free. It's through the NHS, and every health trust in the UK does offer this service, and it's going to be in Scotland starting soon because they're doing the training for it at the moment. I'll send you some information about
I
it.
would
Kelly,
love
and
to
then you'll
hear from
know.
you, and I'd love to talk to you about it as well, because I don't know about this and I need to know about this.
It's actually based out of Stanford in America that did the whole course. They put it all together, and at the moment it's actually delivered globally all over.
Okay,
It's the
well,
same course.
my people are global as well, and oddly, my Facebook audience is largely America, so that actually helps even more.
Yeah.
Yeah, so it's basically just saying to everybody, if they're interested, we call ours in the Northwest Manchester area expert patient program. There is a patient program that is also called Empower that is available in other course. Every health trust has named this course slightly different for some reason, but you can actually get, if you request your GP to go through your local care navigators and have the phone calls with them, they can put you in touch with your local health authority. Now, in Manchester, we deliver it online and in person all over the city. It's a 6-week course, 7 if you're online, because we do an introduction to the program that we use to deliver the course. But it literally changed my life. I did the course before COVID, and then I trained up as a tutor as soon as I could. And it is like a new way of life. It got me through my problems. It got me through my recovery, because I had my hysterectomy last year in November. I was in one day, I had a bad reaction to the anaesthetic, and they kicked me out the next day. I had infected stitches with MRSA, but I'm here and I got through it. And if I hadn't have done the course and learnt the coping techniques, I wouldn't be here. But there is something for everybody available on this course, because you can pick and choose the bits that are more relevant. But I will send you the info. And if anybody is interested, just send me a message and I can find out the name of the one in your local area for you, because I can use the NHS web that we've got internally and get you the info that you need. They do it down south. They do it in every healthcare trust. For some reason, when they did the licensing, the course has to be presented the same way. So it's out of a printed book, but every course is brought to life. But for some reason, every trust has named it something different.
That's mad.
It is very frustrating, because we struggle finding it and we deliver the courses.
Yeah, that's
So
mad.
That is crazy.
The easiest thing to do is ask your GP for a phone call with a care navigator, which is the one where they go through, do you need any medical aids put in your house? Do you need any equipment from social services? Anything like that? They can go through it and find the name of the course that is relevant for you.
Yeah.
And it is the same course, it's just differently named, but usually there's the tutors that are actually live with the conditions themselves, so they know what they're talking about.
Yeah.
It's not just somebody that is paid to do the job, it's actually someone who's in our position of having the same operation, maybe a different experience.
Oh,
But it
definitely.
applies not just for hysterectomies, for anything that you are living with. If it is medical in nature and you are struggling, there is a course there to help you. But they don't advertise these courses, so it's letting people know that they're out there.
That's so helpful. That's really,
Very.
really helpful.
Thank
I
you.
didn't know about that
So
either.
I just thought I'd jump on there and just say, when a man turns around and tells you that you will want children, you will want this, you will want that, just offer them, would you like to have my uterus for one day? Because I know the answer will be no, I do not want it. If we relied on them, they would not be
No, you
populating the
definitely
planet, would they, being fair?
Yeah, no, absolutely. And I was told that as well. And it was like, I was like, I don't want any more kids. And it was like, oh, but you might do. You're young. And it's like, just take it out. I'm in agony. Like, ridiculous that they can even say that to people. Like, but anyway,
Yeah.
that was really
Thank you, Laura.
It's not a problem. It is really hard fighting, but if you can't give up, because it makes such a difference when you get the result. But if nothing else, I can always just explain to people how we say, put your letter in order to yourself, and then explain it to a doctor who will actually listen, and they'll respect you more for speaking to them on a normal level rather than nagging letters that I keep getting told, well, you nag. No, I'm trying to save my life because it's driving me to those extremes.
Yeah. Yeah. Flap said, I took all 5 kids to the appointment. I love that. You're going to tell me all of them all? Well, there's 5 of them.
Yeah.
I love it.
So I
so
will
much,
drop
Laura.
down, but I just thought that might help some people.
That will.
Yeah, that will. Thank
It
you.
will.
Oh,
You're
thank
right,
you,
Laura.
Laura. Yeah, it's right.
Thank
I
you so
knocked my
much,
wire.
Laura. Big love to
Somebody
you for that.
did a big heart thing, and I didn't catch who it was, but I was just trying to see who it was and say thank you, and knocked my phone. That's
welcome
really
back,
useful
Freaks.
information.
Script
Say again.
writer. Fact Freaks script writer says, I need this live. I'm due to go for a scan before they decide to give me a hysterectomy. This is why we're doing this live. We haven't got much more time left, but we are going to jump to the Fox lady.
I am going to go live on Friday, though, and I'm just thinking about Friday, because I did mention it earlier. I will post when I'm going live on Friday, but it will probably be later in the day. So I'm maybe a Friday night glass of wine and a live.
There you go. That sounds good.
Maybe about 7 o'clock. So I will do that.
And if you're not following Kelly on Hysterectomy Support up there, make sure you follow her. And also you can ask her questions. Like, she does this. She does hold individual spaces for people. It doesn't always have to be on a live.
I do, yeah.
And she's very affordable, if I do say so myself. But if you are...
It needs to be.
Yeah.
That's, like I said, our whole mission is reaching and creating ways for people to access support that aren't ridiculously. I think the most expensive thing I sell, I think, is about £35, and that's an hour 1-to-1.
Yeah.
Everything else is under that.
And she's booked up all the time because she's good, and some people repeat book because you get so much out of that. But genuinely, if you are, if you're not getting anywhere with your GP surgery, you don't know what questions to ask, you are just scared, whatever it is, whether you're pre or post, I strongly suggest getting in touch with Kelly. And like I said, I know because I've worked with her. I know people book her and use her because there aren't many people doing what she does. And she's very knowledgeable, as you've all heard today, and can help you all. So make sure you follow Kelly. Let's go to Fox Lady. Hi, Fox Lady.
Hi, Remy.
Hello, babe.
So my issue isn't hysterectomy. I don't need one. I've not had one. My issue is my pelvic floor. So for anyone that doesn't know, I've got MS and I've had it for 11 years. I'm nervous because I'm going to admit something that
That's okay.
none of my friends know about me, but my MS for the last 3 years has destroyed my bladder.
Oh,
Destroyed it. Sorry.
It's okay.
And I am just desperate for help with my pelvic floor because my doctors just aren't listening to me at all, and I don't know what to do.
Okay. Have they done any internal exams? Have you been diagnosed with any prolapse or?
No, so I had an internal last week, and I've been waiting for that appointment for 3 years now, and she was just a bladder nurse, but I've got a UTI at the moment, and she literally is blaming my incontinence on the UTI, but I've not had a UTI for 3 years.
3 years.
It's insane. They're not listening to me at all.
So you've never had any pelvic floor therapy?
Nothing, honestly, nothing. I have begged my MS nurse, I've begged everybody, and they just don't listen.
Yeah, I mean, in my area, it just isn't actually available. It should be available under nice guidelines. It just isn't. But it's not normal for you to have that level of incontinence.
Yeah.
Okay, and we're told that at a certain age, it's normal to leak. It's normal to wee when we sneeze or to have to cross our legs. It isn't.
Yeah.
And it can be fixed. And not everything can be fixed with pelvic floor exercise or therapy. Lots of things can be improved. And obviously, like, you need a proper diagnosis, because if there's a full prolapse or a full fistula or other disorder, pelvic floor will improve, but it's not going to fix it. So I can't sit here and promise you that there's this magic exercise or magic thing that's going to fix it. But maybe we'll inbox. Let me know which area you're in, if that's okay with you. I don't want you to shout it out here, but I'd like to help you formulate that kind of campaign for getting help and getting the right assessment. And, you know, once you're properly assessed, if there's something mild going on or something that can be improved, then I can work with you to do that. And I only do kind of pelvic floor health, so a very generic how to look after it, what to do, and the basic exercises, because, you know, I'm not qualified to be doing the internal work and the in-person, but I definitely can point you in the right direction. I can definitely give you some advice, and I can definitely help you speak to your medical professionals to try and get you that assessment and intervention that you need. Because
it's just frustrating. Like they're just taking no notice of me, and I'm 36, so I don't accept that. You know, I'm going to wear incontinence pads for the rest of my life. I just won't accept it.
No.
Thank you.
And you shouldn't
anyway.
accept it. You're absolutely right. You shouldn't accept it. And you know, sometimes when we've got multiple things, and I've seen that come up this evening, people have got lots of different things and they all become one melting pot, and it becomes hard to work out what's a symptom of what. And I think we need a much more holistic conversation around joining all those dots.
Yeah, definitely.
So keep in touch, and yeah, please, I'd love to help you.
Thank you, and thanks, Remy, for hosting this. It's brilliant.
You're welcome. Please do reach out to Kelly, genuinely. Don't say
I
you
will
will and disappear. Get in her inbox and annoy the shit out of her.
Yeah, do. Just give me, you know, if I don't come immediately back to you, I can already see tonight my inbox is crazy. And of course, I'm going to jump from here into my group and my page and my Instagram and all the other places and emails. So I do always reply, but there is kind of just one of me doing it all.
But also, I'm going to teach her how to use her inbox properly and get to the information, because it's probably all hidden away. But do message her.
I will. I'm going to jump down. Thank you, ladies.
Big love to you.
Thank you very much for coming and talking.
Big love, darling.
And thank you for all the love in the comments. I'm trying to keep them, and I'm not even sure whether there's a way I can go back and
there isn't.
See comments or anything. But
I'm just going to screenshot a couple of comments.
I do appreciate all the kind words.
Some of them are lovely. And
all of you just for being here. It's so not. I mean, I think at one point there was over 70 people in the
There
room,
was.
and that's
We
a
had-
great conversation to be having. Oh, thank you, CG. So have you. All of you have. Pink. Everybody that's talked. Zoe. Remy.
Keep
Guys,
talking,
suppose we
Kelly. I'm
should be.
screenshotting. Keep
Oh,
talking.
you're screenshotting.
You're
I was just sitting Paul faces, shall I? So that I mean all of your screenshots with a different face.
No, you really have been amazing, Kelly. Like, you're so knowledgeable on so many different things, not just the endometriosis knowledge, not just women's health in general, and that to find somebody who can help so many people, including myself, like I'm so grateful that Remy has run this live. And
I'm already sat here thinking that if we do this often enough, we could have a whole lot more of me, because you've all got so much to give and there's so little out there.
I know.
Like Remy's,
Remy.
Remy's just sat there going, I'm not writing that course with you.
Remy, before I drop, do I have permission to clout chase?
Yeah, go on. Yes, you do.
So, I've only just started being able to go live myself, and because of all the sort of mental, social, physical things that I have going on, TikTok's been sort of my safe space. It's been my socialisation. So from tomorrow, I am starting doing Wellness Wednesdays, and it's going to be a bit of a guided sort of self-care group where we focus on aspects of self-care and how we can make sure that we are looking after ourselves first. And we're going to focus on the physical aspects of self-care, the social aspects, and the mental aspects and the spiritual aspects of self-care too. So if anyone wants to come along, give me a follow, and I will pop what time I'm going to go live up later on this evening. I just need to juggle a few things around tomorrow, but yeah, it's just a self-care group where people can come, and if you want to learn more about how you can self-care, or if you're on a self-care journey yourself and you just want a bit of motivation and support, like, come along.
Brilliant. What did you say? What time?
I'm thinking I'm probably going to do it after you go live, so probably about 1:30, 2ish.
Perfect.
I will be at work tomorrow, but I would like to come to a future one.
Yeah, absolutely. I think I'm going to do different times, because tomorrow's just going to be a bit of an introduction, and then I'm going to do sort of specific ones each week, so a physical one, and I have got a couple of like guest speakers and stuff coming on, so I don't know if you feel like you might be able to contribute to it in some way, Kelly, but if you
definitely.
do, like,
let's definitely connect and chat. And I'm happy to connect with any. I know there's lots of communities out there.
We can move the time around to accommodate people and things. I'm quite flexible with it, but yeah, thank you.
I've just been taking screenshots. Anybody who I've screenshot, I will blur out your names. It's just the positive comments about this live that I've been screenshotting, but I will protect identities. Don't worry, everybody. And yes, Zoe, good luck tomorrow. Hold on. Fact Freak scriptwriter says, can I ask, what is the usual process after the scan? Nothing has been explained to them.
Okay, normally your doctor will go through the results with you, or the consultant. More often now they do the scan, they send the results back to your GP. Our GP has, I think it's like between 9 and 12, you can ring up for results, or you can see them online, but you might have to chase for it, just in my experience. You're more likely to hear from them automatically if there's a problem.
Yeah.
It doesn't mean there's not a problem that you have to go and chase, but sometimes no news is good news. But yeah, if it's been more than 2 weeks, definitely follow up with them and ask them to interpret the results for you.
Yeah. Some people are coming in late saying they're gutted they missed this live. Listen, every Tuesday at 7, I'm going to try and stay awake. So we'll be doing women's health next week, Tuesday as well. It's going to be interesting as we enter the summer holidays, how these pan out. The times might move. I'm not sure yet, but and also, you know, we might have less people on the app, or we might have more people on the app. Who knows how this is going to go? But
And
Somebody said,
I'll be live on Friday. I'm planning to go live about 7 o'clock with a glass of wine. So feel free to come and join me there. I don't have an agenda. We'll just sit and chat about anything health related, hysterectomy related you want to. Sorry, Rem.
no, it's all right. Carry on.
I
You're
feel
fine.
like I should sit on the carpet with my legs crossed and my fingers
don't
like
be
the
silly.
children do at school.
Don't be silly. Look, for me, the important thing is that, like, if I can help people in any way, then I will. This isn't my area of expertise, but I know it's yours. And I am so happy if people can get the help and the support that they need, because it is severely lacking out there. And I know that there are people sitting in their homes who are worried and scared. And like, if you trust me, which I know a lot of you do, I really do trust Kelly with this 100%. And, you know, look at Shan's in the room, Cal. Shan's here. But like I would send anyone to Kelly for any advice when we're talking about hysterectomy stuff and support and pelvic floor. I've seen the amazing community she's amassed. She's written books, she sells courses, she does one-to-one support. So yeah, CG says it's important to break taboos, to raise awareness and help everyone, and to know that they're not alone. And look, you know, I don't have the biggest platform on here, but I feel like we've helped quite a few people today. I've learned some new stuff today. I know I've seen from comments that other people have learned stuff that they didn't know before. And I think that's what it's all about, trying to make an impact in any way that we can. So, yeah, please do go and follow Kelly on Hysterectomy Support. She's got a live on Friday. Make sure you support Zoe, who's Melons to the Wind, on Wednesday.
Yes.
And we will be back on Thursday as well. We've got a parental live on Thursday as well. Exactly, ads. If you help one, it's one more than none. Fact Freak says, Fact Freak scriptwriter, I keep wanting to shorten it. It says, it's the first time I've ever seen a live like this in the 4 years I've been around. Well, that's getting some shots. Let me just change this background image as well. I think most of you know, and I will put... I'm
going to explode in a minute.
I will put some... videos.
Can I just read a comment while you do that?
Yeah,
That's
absolutely.
just made my night, and I don't want to lose it. And it's Lindsay that says, can I just say it's hilarious when the regular male followers have popped in tonight and ran. That's made me laugh a lot.
I think Mr. Bean come in and just put a comment saying, have a great night, ladies, and run off.
And I was like, deuces. Right.
Thank you. And Remy, thank you, because this is your space and you've invited me into your space and you've got the audience to open up these conversations, and I love that, and I love you very much, and I'm sure we'll speak soon.
Yeah, we will, darling.
And thank you for the love flaps to the wind.
You've got yourself 169 coins tonight, missus. You don't know what that means, but...
I'm very, very grateful. And like I say, all the little bits and pieces that we scramble in from here, there and everywhere go straight back into either getting me some time to do all this or making new courses, resources,
yeah, that can
so
help
on and
people.
so forth. So
this image that's up, just to say, Thursday 7 p.m. we have our parenting live, and we're doing internet safety for our children. The text is half off the screen, so it's not very helpful, but that's what we're doing on Thursday evening as well. We're
love that.
Having more conversations, and you're welcome to come. Kelly will be here, I'm sure.
Yeah, I finish work at 7, so I'll be here shortly after, but I'll sneak in very quietly and I won't be disruptive.
Well, we want to hear you.
And don't worry that you missed it. We'll be back, and I'll be live in my community as well. So,
yeah. And next week, Tuesday, we're focusing on menopause.
Good job you reminded me.
Menopause, yes, so I need you next week as well, love. You're very welcome.
Are you still wanting people to message me if they want to be involved in the live and stuff?
Absolutely.
Yeah, so guys, if you do want to be involved, just hit me a message and let me know which live you want to be involved in, and I can get you all added to the list.
Yeah, so whether you want to come to the parenting one on Thursday, and share your story, message Melons, and on Thursday at 12 we're doing a business live. So if you're a business owner and you want to, a TikTok business owner, and you want to talk about what you do on the app, then that'll be at 12 o'clock on Thursday. All right, my darlings, we're going to wrap. We've gone over a little bit. Thank you so much for your time today, Kelly. I really appreciate it.
Thank you for having me, and thank you,
pleasure.
everyone. You've got the best audience here.
Oh, mate, they are lovely.
Jealous.
We've got a lovely bunch. You're going to build your own community on here, and it's going to be amazing.
I like it here.
Well, just come and hang out with us here then. Right, my darlings, we do need to go, and I'll be back tomorrow live at 12. So I will see you then. Thank you to all the mods. Thank you so much for your help today, Zoe. You're a ledge.
Thank you, Zoe.
You're welcome. And I will see you tomorrow.
Bye, everyone.